Welcome back, Insomniacs. It's Kurious Cyclopes
And Steve.
Today we're gonna be discussing something that's kind of well overdue. I guess we're gonna do a little review for A Nightmare on Elm Street. This will actually be a really interesting review because I'll be going off of like my backhand knowledge from the million times I've seen it. But Steve is so fresh because he just watched it last night.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I constantly watch so many movies that they just take over all the old ones. So I like to try and like freshen up if I can.
Yeah, that's good. And I should probably do the opposite. Stop watching so much old shit and get more familiar with the newer stuff.
Right. I mean, like you said, it's long overdue. Obviously, it's the inspiration for the name of our channel.
We'll never sleep again.
So after we had Mielo007, one of our loyal insomniacs, ask us to do it,
and we appreciate it. So
absolutely.
Here's your shout out.
Yeah, give him a check out. He has a kind of cool gaming channel. Does a lot of the Telltale games, like The Walking Dead and the Batman series and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So there's a shout out for you. Thank you, like as always.
Yeah, thank you.
We actually love comments because we want to get as many as we can and just converse with our fan base. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's cool. So before we just get into the review, Nightmare on Elm Street, when the hell did you first see it?
It had to have been when I was young, but I can only imagine the first time I saw it would have been like a sci-fi, like cable TV version of it.
That's cool. It was actually one of the first horror films that I rented. So I saw it when I was fairly young, and oh my god, that was one of the scariest movies I ever seen.
Yeah.
Like I would say there's two horror films that scared me the most for years, and that's probably The Exorcist and Nightmare on Elm Street. But I had nightmares for so long about Freddy Krueger.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess let's just get hopped right in.
Right into it, man.
So yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. Right in the beginning, it's kind of cool how you see him constructing the glove and because I remember in the beginning I was kind of confused, like what the hell's going on, and then I realized I was like, oh shit, so that's where he got the glove. So it's kind of cool that they felt the need to throw that in there, but I appreciated it.
Yeah, and it was nice, to see like, oh, it's some practical thing, like some dude could just put that together and like
I had a personal touch to it because he constructed this device just to hurt like kids and shit.
Right.
Wow. But so overall, I found it very strange in the beginning before it's like a dream sequence where what's her name? Tina, that's right. And she's like walking down the street and there's a fucking goat or whatever that just runs by. Like I think it made her jump even, and I guess that was the first hint that you got that this must be like maybe a dream, because why is there a goat just walking around?
Dude, her like very first thing, like, and there's not much bad that I could say about this movie. Even this isn't bad, it's just like being nitpicky. But the first like boiler room sequence where she's like running from Freddy, she just kind of does like just a little trot. She doesn't gain any distance or anything, and I'm like, what was the fucking point of that?
Yeah, that is funny. But I thought the whole chase in the beginning was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Especially when she sees Freddy's arms extended, scratching the wall, and she goes, "Oh my God," or "Save me, God," whatever the hell she says, and then he goes, "This is God." That's another one of those immortal quotes from a horror film. So, and then obviously, the fact that they had to film that whole scene up in an upside down room, how once she's getting slashed up on the ceiling and like Freddy's killing her. So when I first saw that, obviously, to this day, the effect looks great. You can't tell it's an upside-down room.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, it's more than just an upside-down room, from what I heard. That it was actually like a revolving room that was like slow moving, so that she could kind of crawl up the side and then end up on the roof. And like,
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
they literally had a revolving room. Yeah, I actually heard funny stories about that thing. About, I guess they would get nauseated and sick, like doing the scene after scene, trying to get it right. But dude, that's fucking creative as hell.
Oh yeah.
And obviously Nightmare on Elm Street in general had really creative effects like that.
And apparently they used it twice, because then they used the revolving room thing for the Johnny Depp like bed scene where all the blood comes like shooting out.
Well, I'm glad they got their money's worth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess from what I read, it almost went pretty bad on them, because they had wanted to have it come from like upside down and then kind of spread across the walls and stuff. I guess it just went like straight down and started to flow out towards like all the cameras and electrical equipment and stuff.
Oh my god.
Apparently it knocked the power out, but like nobody got hurt or anything like that. So
that must have been fucking adrenaline rush.
Oh yeah.
Like, wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I even wonder how much was everyone getting paid and what was the budget like? Because obviously it was the first one, so it's not like they knew whether it was going to be a hit or not.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, obviously Nancy's really the star of this movie, but I found it cool how eventually she finds out that Tina is having the same damn dreams that she's having about Freddy and all that. I found it cool how she was defending her friend from her dad when he was trying to arrest her, because obviously who else killed Tina, because they were the only two in the room, so.
Right. And like you gotta feel bad for that guy, but like at the same time he was a fucking douchebag.
He was a douchebag, but it's cool that Nancy was that loyal to her friends that even she wasn't sure, but she still wouldn't give him up to her dad.
Dude, like
he was a dude.
His first line in the movie is probably like the dumbest line of all time.
What was it?
Where like Johnny Depp says something snarky to him and he's just like, "Up yours with a twirling lawnmower."
I don't think I ever quite heard that.
Yep.
So okay, dude.
That's pretty bad.
Cool. So yeah, he's a typical douchebag.
A little bit.
Okay. Obviously, it was funny to find out that Johnny Depp's first movie was in Nightmare on Elm Street. And in fact, when I first saw this movie, the bed scene fucked me up for a long time. Like, obviously, even right that very night when I had to go to bed after, I was like, great. As soon as I lay down in my bed, I know I'm going to sink in a little bit.
Right.
So, like, oh, God. You think Freddy's going to be pulling you in. But, you know how, like, Psycho scared people from the showers, Jaws scared people from the beach. Well, I was scared to lay down in my bed after seeing Nightmare on Elm Street. And not only Johnny Depp getting sucked in, but remember at the end, her mom gets drifted into the bed, and there's that like lightning effect in the bed. That was fucking creepy.
Yeah, dude.
But what was what parts do you think were really vital to Nancy's development? Because obviously I thought it was cool when she started getting the books about the booby traps and all that, and she was gearing up to face him.
Oh yeah. Well, I think like one of the coolest scenes I think is the scene where she's falling asleep in the bathtub.
Oh my god, yeah, that's one of the most infamous scenes ever.
And he's like drowning her, and she's like holding on to the edge of the tub trying to come back up and scream for help. Like that's scary, dude.
That is fucking scary. And even that's kind of probably sparked the fear again of not taking a shower but taking a bath. Like God, Freddy's in there.
And they probably had to film that over a pool or something and have somebody actually
had a water tank.
So how fucking scary is that to be sitting there acting like you're chilling in the bathtub and all of a sudden be just sucked under by somebody? That's got to freak you out even though you're acting.
Yeah, because obviously they probably don't tell them exactly when, because you want some element of surprise on their face. So, but yeah, imagine how many times she had to get pulled under.
Right.
And plus, it's freaky probably swimming in a water tank for a movie. Dude, I don't know. That just...
Yeah.
I don't know. Especially when someone's pulling your leg for the scene. Okay, we're literally in water. We could drown.
Your body has to have a natural reaction that's fuck, somebody's pulling on me. Even though you're doing a movie.
Because we probably don't even like when our friends used to dunk us in the pool. Because,
you get held under for a second too long and you start to freak out.
Yeah. But, yeah, obviously the bathtub scene was fucking phenomenal. Something else that really stunned me was when she's being studied in the hospital because she's not sleeping and all that. And when she snaps out of her dream and she pulled Freddy's head out, that fucking scared me.
Yeah,
that's when you knew that there's something real to this Freddy.
Oh yeah. Well, even when she knows that she can do that and she goes back at the end of the movie to get him. And when her watch is going off and she quick jumps on him to pull him back into the world.
Yeah, when her alarm goes.
I've seen this movie a million times. I knew it was coming, and still watching it in the theater last night when she's looking around and she's like, "Oh, maybe it didn't work," and he jumps up from behind the bed and is like, "Rah!" I still jump.
Especially because you get the high pitched instrument, whatever it is, the.
Yeah.
But dude, the music in general is fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Do you know another really scary scene is when she's running up the stairs and all of a sudden the steps start breaking and there's that white Conk and he's breaking through like the front door.
Yeah.
Like, oh my fucking god. Like the fact that he teases you like that.
Right.
But geez, there were so many just great scenes. I always just think about Nancy, especially when she was on the phone saying like, "Don't fall asleep" to Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
And then Freddie fucked with her by transforming the phone into his mouth. And he's like,
where he's like, "I'm your boyfriend now."
Yeah, I'm your boyfriend now. And he starts licking her and shit. But obviously when she comes around with all the booby traps, that was fucking sick.
Oh, yeah.
I always think of Home Alone a little bit when I see that.
Yeah.
Dude, she has, what was it? She had a sledgehammer rigged up to a door so he got like hit in the balls or something, or wherever he got hit. But that was funny. And then my favorite was when she flicks on the lamp or whatever, and the gunpowder in the light bulb explodes and it sets his ass on fire. Like, that was the first moment where he was put in the situation where he was freaked out. Like, he was scared because he was like, "Ah!" And he was screaming like, "Ah!"
Dude, and it always like gets you a little more freaked out in the movie when somebody's like, help me, and like people aren't believing you.
God,
like when she has him on fire in the basement and she's like breaking windows in her house being like, "Get my dad, help me."
Yeah, because her dad, who's the cop, they're all across the street.
At Glenn's house,
because he died.
Right.
So, and then I love how he's like, "Honey, it's gonna be okay."
Right.
Like, you know,
takes
and they
like
think she's crazy.
3 times for her to scream until he goes like, maybe I should get her dad.
I think it's because finally, when her dad looked up in the window, eventually he saw like Freddy run by or something. Right? Is that
no, it was just eventually after she kept screaming long
like,
enough.
okay,
the guy who
check
she
it
was
out.
screaming at was like, "I need to go tell her dad."
Oh yeah, and then right when he does come in, that's when Freddy's on top of her mom, right?
Yeah.
And like he already killed her pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's fucking great.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I almost forgot about the scene when Tina's in the body bag in the school when she falls asleep in school and she gets dragged away.
Right.
I mean, that scene was so iconic. They even put that in the remake of the movie.
Yeah, dude, it was interesting. I mean, I think it all kind of blends together now, having seen like all of them so much and stuff. Like, you kind of almost allow yourself to forget that like the first movie, Freddy wasn't really like the quirky like personality that he is and like
he wasn't
everything else.
A comedian.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the most smart-ass thing he did that was slightly dark humor was just when he cut off his own finger and he was like, "Watch this, bro."
Right.
But yeah, so you know, the whole boiler room scenery though, from the get-go, that was a great setting.
Oh yeah.
So you know, I loved it. But yeah, for Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously the end. Like I said, that's an iconic ending when she finally is like, you know, "You're shit, you're nothing."
Right.
And she's not afraid and she defeats him. And then, of course, you get the twist ending where Freddy's arm comes ripping through the window and grabbing her mom as his, I guess, the stripes on his shirt, they go on the top of the car.
Yeah, they're like the top of the convertible.
That was so silly.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was, the car thing was silly, but it made me jump the first time that his arm came through and grabbed her mom.
Right.
But obviously, Nightmare on Elm Street, I love the first one, but I also just love the whole franchise.
Oh, yeah,
together.
absolutely.
But any other thoughts for the first one? Anything that you didn't notice, maybe?
No, nothing that I didn't really
We've
pick
seen
up
this
on.
movie a lot.
Oh, yeah,
so,
like over and
like
over.
Like I said, I'm just going off of my prior knowledge.
Yeah.
But you know, it wasn't that long ago that I rewatched it again, obviously, because I got the Blu-ray set not too long ago.
Right.
But yeah, love Nightmare on Elm Street. Would you still say it's the scariest one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I would say so too. It's definitely the scariest. But yeah, you know, great effects. Robert Englund was fucking incredible. It was just scary all around. I still think that it's one of those few horror films that could still creep people out. To this day, especially if they're not like a horror head per se.
I mean, it's such a perfect kind of idea of like, you know, people don't like being out of control, and like you're totally not in control of your dreams, and we all have like nightmares, so like what's scarier than to think of your nightmares actually killing you
and having to be afraid of falling asleep.
Right.
Like that whole concept, like
right, something that you can't even help doing. Like that's crazy.
And not knowing if you're awake or not.
Right.
Jesus Christ, that's some terrifying shit. But, that's our little review for Nightmare on Elm Street. Obviously, I say it's a perfect.
Oh yeah.
Like out of a 5, I would give it 5 out of 5.
Absolutely.
Definitely, no questions asked.
It's so timeless too. Like that movie will be a classic forever.
And like I said, as much as I love the original, I'm really looking forward to reviewing the sequels because I never get sick of rewatching those.
Right.
I love them all. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I say the original is a perfect. It's definitely a masterpiece of the horror world. So I guess that wraps it up. So Kurious Cyclops
and Steve,
thank you for watching this episode of Never Sleep Again TV. Thank you, Insomniacs.
Thanks, guys.